Joining us now, former U.S. Border Patrol Chief. He is Ron Vitiello. Thanks for joining us. Okay, Homeland Security Secretary Mayorkas trying to downplay the border crisis. He's saying, well, there's a double count. Migrants are repeatedly trying to cross. But border officials say that's been going on for years and years and years and generations and decades. The point is that they try to cross again and again because they know they can do it with impunity without consequences, that the recidivism has been going on for decades. Your reaction to this?
I agree. The Border Patrol, when I was there, we started looking directly at recidivism as a measure of success in the 2011 timeframe. And so that number is knowable. It's true that some of the people who are expelled under Title 42 authority have an ability to try to come right back across the border, and several of them will do that. But in May, where there are 180,000 apprehensions, only 61,000 of those apprehensions were people who were expelled during Title 42. So that's another 120,000 people who crossed the border and were either sent into detention or referred or obviously released, right? That's what causes this surge. And this surge, as you mentioned, we're in record territory. We've never seen anything like that in the history of DHS. And so to blame what's going on, this crush of humanity, on recidivism is just not accurate. It is not accurate at all.
Yeah, the point is that any illegal crossing is a crime. Critics have been saying things like, the surge in recidivism is not a mitigating factor. It's not a positive thing. It's a sign of how out of control the crisis really is. I mean, now we're seeing, 4 out of 10 trying to cross again and again. That's up from about 1 out of 7. So, we see also this story coming in. The Biden administration is talking about now opening up the border even more, getting rid of Title 42, which says border control can stop people at the border due to COVID-19. They're talking about wiping out that. What effect would this have?
Well, we all need to be concerned about how they handle that next step. So what ended the last surge was the migrant protection protocols and the asylum accords with the Northern Triangle, Guatemala, Honduras, and El Salvador. Title 42 then came in after the pandemic started, which allowed CBP to send people back into Mexico if they were single adults and families, and then changed in the beginning of the year. They stopped using Title 42 for children, and then Mexico changed their law so intact families with tender-age children could not be sent back. That's what caused this surge. We stopped the migrant protection protocols. We stopped the asylum accords in January of this year. And then the Title 42 was suspended for children. That's what caused the rush of children at the border that we saw in February, March, April, May, and June. And so now, if they tear down Title 42 authority against the single adults, which it's being applied to now, then those people are going to come in record numbers. And so ICE needs to have the resources to prepare for that another surge.
And, the critics say that the border facilities are going to get even more and more crowded. We now have a dozen states sending law enforcement to help out Texas with the border crisis. That's the thing. Senator Tom Cotton is saying it's a shame that it's come to that they have to have states sending their own troops to the border. Your final word.
I agree. This is a federal responsibility, and given the right resources and given the right policies or congressional action, CBP, the Border Patrol, they're very well prepared to handle this problem. What they don't have is the policy backup or a legislative change that allows them to address this surge. And so having the states send additional help is a benefit to the Border Patrol. It relieves some of the stress that they're under, but it's not going to fix the bigger problem.
All right, Ron Vitiello, thank you so much for joining us. We really appreciate it. It's good to have you on.
Thank you.
Thank you for your service to our country. You made great points there and great insights. We appreciate it. Come back soon.